or astral round. 181. The present round, which is the fourth, is the one in which desire, or response to contact and sensation is being brought to its fullest expression. In the next round, the fifth principle of mind, or menas, will reach fruition. 81. The system of the Syrian Logos is on the cosmic mental plane, and in a subtle way, incomprehensible to us, our Logos, with his system, forms a part of a still greater Logos. This does not involve loss of identity, though the matter is too abstruse to express more adequately. It is in this analogy that the basic idea can be found of all teaching given out about the grand heavenly man. The whole conception of these laws is bound up in this idea. We have the three laws of the cosmic higher planes, holding in the synthesis of beauty the greater and the lesser system. Next we have the great law of Sirius, the law of karma, on the third subplane of the cosmic mental plane, which law really controls our Logos, and his actions, in the same way as the ego in due course of evolution controls the human personality. We need to remember that, under the law of correspondences, we shall have a relationship in the cosmos, similar to that existing in the microcosm between the ego and the personality. The suggestion holds much that we might consider with benefit. We must not, however, carry the analogy too far. As we have not yet evolved to where we have planetary consciousness, still less systemic, how can we really expect even to conceive of the ABC of cosmic truth? Just broad hints, wide conceptions, and generalities, are as yet possible. Of one thing we can be sure, and that is that identity ever remains. Let me explain by illustration. Each one of us, in due process of evolution, forms part of one of the heavenly men, who themselves form the seven centers in that greater heavenly man, the Logos. Yet, though we are merged with the whole, we do not lose our identity, but forever remain separated units of consciousness, though one with all that lives or is. In like manner our Logos loses not his identity, even though he forms part of the consciousness of the Logos of Sirius. In his turn, the Syrian Logos forms one of the seven grand heavenly men, who are the centers in the body of one of whom not may be said. The laws and the planes. We might, while studying the seven laws of the solar system, take them plane by plane, showing certain things three in all. 1. We might study their effect as they demonstrate on the path of involution. 2. As they manifest on the path of evolution, or return. 3. We might also touch on the laws, as they affect the human, and Deva organisms that evolve by means of them. As we do this, we shall gradually get a broad general idea of how this system of ours, the thought form of the Logos, was gradually built up, how it is controlled and held together, and how numerous and intricate are the interrelations. Certain fundamental hypotheses are assumed, which must form the background for all we would say. We must assume first that a builder, or some creative mind, is working to bring about an ordered production, and is seeking to manifest through a demonstrable objective. The objective universe is but the product of some subjective mind. Next we must posit that the material for the building of this universe lay ready to the hand of the builder, and that this material itself is the fruit of some previous system, all that is left of some past consummated product. Given, therefore, the builder and the material, we must next accede to the proposition that this builder proceeds with his building under some definite laws that guide his choice of material, that control the form that he erects, and that indicate to him the process to be followed in the consummating of his idea. We must not forget that three great symbols stand, in the mind of the Logos, for each of his three systems, that the whole exists for him as a concrete thought form, for he is learning to manipulate the matter of the cosmic mental plane on concrete levels, in the same way that man is working on the laws of thought, and on the building of thought forms. It is impossible to do more than sense the symbols of the systems past and present. Perhaps if we could visualize a swastika of 10 arms revolving at right angles, of a radiant green color, all the 10 arms emanating from a central, blazing sun, we might have some idea of the thought form that formed the basis of System I, the activity system. The basic thought form for the second system embodies the green swastika of the first manifestation, and adds to it concentric and interlaced circles in blue, in groups of 3, linked by one large circle. Both symbols are, of course, in the higher dimensions. The symbol for the next system is unknown. After grasping and conceding these 3 basic ideas, we can now proceed to the working out of the laws of the system on the 7 planes, remembering always that these 7 laws hold good on the numerically corresponding subplane on each plane. Let me briefly illustrate. The 4th law, magnetic control, for instance, holds sway on the 4th subplane of each plane, in the 4th round, and in the 4th root ray specially. We shall then have the correspondence, as follows: 40H law magnetic control. 4th ray harmony or beauty. 4th plane the Buddhic. 4th subplane Buddhic magnetic control. 4th round dense physical magnetism, controlling sex manifestation on the physical plane, and inspired by astral desire, the reflection of the Buddhic. 4th root race the Atlantean, in which the above qualities specially demonstrated. 1. The law of vibration. This is the law of the first plane, and it governs all the atomic subplanes of each plane. It marks the beginning of the work of the Logos, the first setting in motion of Malay Prakriti. On each plane the vibration of the atomic subplane sets in motion the matter of that plane. It is the key measure. We might sum up the significance of this law in the words, light, or fire. It is the law of fire. It governs the transmutation of differentiated colors back to their synthesis. It controls the breaking up of the 1 into the 7, and then the reabsorption back into the 1. It is really the basic law of evolution, which necessitates involution. It is analogous to the first movement the Logos made to express himself through this solar system. He uttered the sound, a threefold sound, one sound for each of his 3 systems, and started a ripple on the ocean of space. The sound grows in volume as time progresses, and when it has reached its full volume, when it is fully completed, it forms one of the notes in the major cosmic chord. Each note has 6 subtones, which, with the first, make the 7. The law of vibration, therefore, comprises 18 lesser vibrations and 3 major, making the 21 of our 3 systems. 2 multiplied by 9, 2x9, makes the necessary 18, which is the key number of our love system. 27 holds hid the mystery of the third system. On the path of involution, the 7 great breaths, or sounds drove to the atomic subplane of each plane, and there the basic vibration repeated in its own little world the method of logoic vibration, giving rise itself to 6 subsidiary breaths. We get the same correspondence here as we did in the matter of the rays, for we shall find that the lines of vibration are 1 minus 2 minus 4 minus 6. Logically this would be so, for involution is negative, receptive, and corresponds to the feminine pole, just as the abstract rays were 2 minus 4 minus 6. This truth requires meditation, and an attempt to think abstractly. It is linked to the fact that the whole second system is receptive and feminine. It concerns the evolution of consciousness of the psyche. On the path of evolution this law controls the positive aspect of the process. All is rhythm and movement, and, when all that evolves on each plane attains the vibration of the atomic subplane, then the goal is reached. When, therefore, we have achieved the first main vibrations, and have perfected vehicles for all evolutions, not merely the human, of 5-fold atomic subplane matter, then we have completed the round of evolution for this system. In the coming system we shall add the next two vibrations that complete the scale, and our Logos will then have completed his building. The fourth creative hierarchy, that of the human monads, has to learn to vibrate positively, but the Devas proceed along the line of least resistance. They remain negative, taking the line of acquiescence, of falling in with the law. Only the human monads, and only in the three worlds, follow the positive line, and by resistance, struggle, battle and strife learn the lesson of divine acquiescence. Yet, owing to the increase of friction through that very struggle, they progress with a relatively greater rapidity than the Devas. They have need to do this, for they have lost ground to make up. The law of vibration is the law of progress, of movement and of rotation. On the seventh or lowest plane, the vibration is slow, clogged and lethargic from the standpoint of the first, and it is in learning to vibrate, or to rotate more rapidly, that we mount the path of return. It involves, therefore necessarily, the building in of finer matter into the vehicles, both Deva and human. In the second system, on the 5 planes of human evolution, we have the 5 vehicles: physical, astral, mental, buddhic, and atmic, which have all to be purified, rarefied, intensified and refined. In the 2 lowest, the physical and the astral, only matter of the 5 higher subplanes, of their respective planes, is to be found, for the 2 lowest subplanes are too low for Deva or human bodies. They were dominated in the first system. The mental body is the first in which we find matter of all the subplanes. The aim of evolution for us is love dominated by intelligence, or intelligence dominated by love, for the interaction will be complete. The human race came into the chain at a point where it naturally took bodies of the 5th astral and physical subplanes, and we can see here an analogy to the coming into the 4th root race of the more advanced egos. 2. The law of cohesion. This is one of the branch laws of the cosmic law of attraction. It is interesting to notice how this law demonstrates in this love system in a threefold manner. On the plane of the monad, as the law of cohesion, the law of birth, if we might use that term, resulting in the appearance of the monads in their 7 groups. Love the source, and the monad of love, the result. On the plane of buddhi, as the law of magnetic control. It shows itself as the love-wisdom aspect, irradiating the ego, and eventually gathering to itself the essence of all experience, garnered, via the ego, through the personality lives, and controlled throughout from the plane of buddhi. Magnetism, and the capacity to show love, are occultly synonymous. On the astral plane, as love demonstrating through the personality. All branches of the law of attraction, demonstrating in this system, show themselves as a force that ingathers, that tends to coherence, that results in adhesion, and leads to absorption. All these terms are needed to give a general idea of the basic quality of this law. This law is one of the most important of the systemic laws, if it is permissible to differentiate at all. We might term it the law of coalescence. On the path of involution it controls the primal gathering to